G'day, I'm the Asian Dad, and we're going to have a look into this Zenbook UX582L. Now, this is a Zenbook. It is an interesting computer here that Asus have sent to me. So you've got a dual display. So we've got, of course, the normal display, which you normally see, and then there's actually a display at the bottom here, which you can actually touch, of course, and it comes with a pen, which both screens you can actually write on, and you can write down on the bottom here as well too. Now, I find this second display very interesting because I've actually been using it as if it's got dual monitors on a laptop. I have actually been putting spreadsheets on the bottom. You can also do writing as well, and I have found it does quite good, especially when you're putting like spreadsheets, like I said, spreadsheets on the bottom, and I can do comparisons of data. So I'm actually finding nice use for this second display, and interesting enough, both are 4K displays, and you can do a fair bit on this second display. We'll have a look into this later in this video. I will be changing the format a little bit with this video, and for those returning viewers, tell me how you find this type of format. And of course, as always, I will be putting timestamps along this video so you can skip to different sections that you may be interested in. So let's get started. As for the keyboard, now this is an interesting one. The fact that it actually doesn't have palm rest, and I thought this might actually annoy me, but when I went to actually start using the computer and start typing away on this computer, I actually did not mind at all. I'd actually find it quite comfortable not having the palm rest. I thought they might annoy, but because of the angle of this laptop and with this nice little accessories of the stand here and elevates it, it actually brings it up to quite a nice angle to type in. Very surprising. And as for each key, it has a nice sort of tactile feel to it. It's actually a little bit more, not like a massive strong bounce back. It is a little bit more spongier, but it feels still quite nice. And each individual key is quite smooth in texture as well. It's got nice spacing in between as well. And it's not overly small, the actual keys. I thought it might be to actually integrate the trackpad, which you'll find it's actually on the right. Now, again, this was another very interesting thing with the trackpad. I thought this would annoy me really hard not having the trackpad in a normal place, but no, again, not a bad place. It is small, but I did not find I had any issue at all. I find actually the larger trackpad, the really ultra large trackpad, not as nice and comfortable to use compared to this nice little small one. So I actually find I was actually very blown by the size. I thought I was going to be really annoyed by it, but no, I actually find it was actually a decent size, and especially being on the right hand side, I actually find it more comfortable that it's actually on the right hand side than in the middle where I thought it would have been easier to be more comfortable. But no, again, no palm rest. I think I might actually like this design for a laptop, having the actual because I am a right-hander, so if you are left-handed, this could be an issue, having the mouse trackpad on the right-hand side. So this could be an issue for left-hand side, but I am a right-hander, so I actually find this not bad at all to actually use. That I actually can still type and have the trackpad using on that. Again, Asus has integrated another nice, interesting feature in the trackpad, and that is the hidden calculator, or it could actually become a number pad system, which is just a little push of a button on the very right hand side, and you'll see it light up, and you actually can use it up. Very cool. I really like this design for Asus have done in some of their laptops. Definitely brilliant to see. The Zenbook does come with two 4K OLED displays. When I measured the main display, it did come out around about close to 400 candela per screen, which is about 400 nits of brightness. Now, this is decently bright, and even when you're working outdoors, you shouldn't have too much issues seeing this display. I really enjoy using the dual screen functionality. I found it very useful for multitasking. I used it for working on spreadsheets, doing especially comparisons, and consuming media. It's also very easy to switch the application between the two displays, as well as Zenbook has provided a nice application to help with the app navigation. The bottom display, which is called Screen Pad, also has the ability to do handwriting. Now, this is particularly useful for people who work with formulas or equations, as this is traditionally quite hard to type, so this would speed up their workflow. And also found that the Hand recognition software, extremely accurate considering my awful handwriting skills. So Asus does come with a pen. Now this pen is quite thick, and I actually kind of also like this as well, just like the carpenter's pen. Now this pen is got one button here, but it is actually two buttons as you can side, and there's no button on top here. So we're going to actually do the line jitter test now. So I'm going to put my palm on the screen. Now this is I'm going to hold down the bottom part just as to help it out as well too. So let's just start now I'm not a digital artist, so I'll do my diagonal lines. Just so you can see those lines, and I'm going to bring in a ruler, and I do have my palm in, so I'm just bringing a ruler in. Now I'm going to put that through. Definitely. All right, somehow it's starting to get better and better. I'll just do some quick lines here to kind of look, and some horizontal lines. That was definitely not a horizontal line there, but we'll give that a go anyway. Quick lines, and we're going to also just do some spirals here as well. It does have pen pressure as well, so I'm just going to light, hard, light, hard, light, hard, light. And just the speed, if there's parallax, it's not bad at all. And just for some writing. I'm going to actually show you something that I might have thought of when I actually saw it's got a pen. And I'm going to might as well do the one finger test about this for the lid. So as you see, we've got quite clampy here, but I can still do it. There we go. I've got to use two fingers now after that. And we've got it all the way here. Now it goes up to this is the maximum angle it can go. And I'm just going to quickly bring myself in. Now as for pushing a pen, if you need to write now, I'm going to do it from this angle here. Because I know for digital artists, I think normally it's a 2-in-1. They will like to try and do this. Now, how far can I push this? So I'm putting quite a bit of thing, but if I'm just going to put like a drawing sort of thing, I can still do all right here. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I can still put a quite, but it is moving a flimsy. And again, I'm just going to put some fair bit of pressure on there. As you can see, it does lift it up. Now I'm going to actually take this into your flat mode. Let's see how far that's able to do that. So it's in flat mode. Now again, because when you actually lift this, it does lift itself a little bit from the back end of the hinge. Now I'm going to put this to maximum angle, and I'm just going to push this as well. Now when I push this is actually quite a bit of pressure now. So when this is flat, if you're doing drawings, that ain't too bad. Now I'm going to put a lot of pressure in there. So you got that's quite a bit of pressure. I would not be drawing with that kind of pressure. My drawing pressure will probably be like this, and same with writing as well. Now I'm putting a fair bit of pressure for pushing it. Now this will definitely be poking a hole through a few things. So that sort of pressure, not too bad. So I think you'll be okay drawing with the amount of pressure you need to put for drawing in this sort of thing, even if it's not a 2-in-1 mode. As for the speakers, when I tested the maximum volume of the speakers, it's measured in at a peak of 91.6 decibels. So on my scale, that's actually quite loud. But, and this is a big but, it comes down to the sound quality of the speakers. Now, the sound quality of the speakers actually kind of shocked me. The sound quality of the speakers, it was very geared towards the high end of the frequencies. So even for the mids, it sounded more for highs, and it did lack a bit of bass. And the highs, of course, is extremely strong. Now, as for the acoustic wise, this was again another interesting thing that I found from this Zenbook, was it sounded as if the acoustics went to the back of the laptop. So it feels like the actual speakers were rear facing rather than forward facing towards the user. Audio quality test of the speakers of the Asus UX582L.
say don't look back, she anticipates. No chance if you become prey. 2 stars in the dark is.
As for the battery life of this Asus Zenbook, I did test it out in my 5 different modes. So in best performance mode, it managed to get an hour and 10 minutes. And in better performance mode, it managed to get an hour and 10 minutes as well. And in better battery life mode, it managed to get an hour and 20 minutes. And in battery saving mode, it managed to get an hour and 30 minutes. And in my medium mode, it managed to get 2 hours and 50 minutes. So that, as you can see, the numbers are fantastic for this computer here. It looks like this computer really needs to be connected to mains, but I did put this up in using a lot of the system resources at the exact same time. So I do put a consistent workload on all the system resources, and most likely a lot of the times your applications that you might be using won't be hitting the system resources as hard. Normally it's just burst speed. So I'm just giving the worst case scenario, and really the RTX 3070 card in this really does hurt it hard. And we also have a very bright 2 4K displays as well. One really nice accessory that comes with this Asus Zenbook is this little, what I would call lever system. I'm not sure what it's called. It's kind of like a little stand as well. It actually folds itself very nicely here, and it feels like, you know, one of those iPad covers. That's what this sort of feels like, but it has a nice little special folding way where it actually folds itself, and then you can actually pop this on, and pretty much what it does is it lifts the back end of the laptop upwards, so you actually get a nice little angle to type on. And as well, really what it really does is to actually lift the laptop up. So if you see at the bottom here, you've got some vents here. Now this is where the intake of cool air is, and normally a lot of laptops like to sit on the table or whatever surface, and it kind of hindrance or blocks the actual air coming into to cool this powerful machine. And by having this actually lifts it up and it allows those breathe holes to actually get in really nice cool air. So I love that they've actually given this nice little accessory, and it actually doubles up as lifting up the laptop as well too. As for the temperatures and fan noise of this Zenbook, I just want to give you a quick background of that. Yeah, average hand is anywhere between 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. So that gives you a bit of reference point to see how hot this computer can be when I tell you the temperatures I managed to measure it. Now, when I measured the temperatures and fan noise, my ambient temperature in the room was 23 degrees Celsius and my ambient room noise was 37 decibels. So I took my base measurement when the computer was on idle, and the hottest area on the keyboard side measured in at 36 degrees Celsius, and as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 37 decibels. So it's practically quiet, and the internal core temperature averaged around about 51 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on 20% load, so that's average use. So tasks like office productivity work, streaming videos, surfing the web, and the hottest area on the keyboard side was 41 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it measured in at a maximum of 43 decibels. So you really start to hear that fan kick in. And as for the internal core temperature, it measured in an average of 78 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on 50% load, and the hottest area on the keyboard side measured in at 42.5 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it peaked at 45 decibels. And as for the internal core temperature, it averaged at around about 80 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on 100% load, and the hottest area on the keyboard side measured in at 45 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 55 decibels. And as for the internal core temperature, it averaged at 92 degrees Celsius. I also measure the bottom back cover of the computer, and the hottest area on the bottom back cover measured in at 46 degrees Celsius, and of course the fan noise stayed at 55 decibels. So this computer does warm up quite a bit, but you really don't feel it as a user, because where you put your palms and you're really just typing away on this keyboard, which isn't really away from a lot of the heat. Now, a lot of the heat is underneath this display on the keyboard side and underneath. Now, I would never try to advise put this laptop on your lap because it does heat up quite a bit. And you do hear that fan noise kick in quite early, and it's really to deal with that RTX 3070 discrete graphics. Once that gets putting a bit of load on there, it really needs to start getting hot, and we need to expel that heat. But it's great to see that Asus at least have actually got that fans running. I have tested a lot of laptops where it heats up quite a lot and the fans aren't even running that well. So it's good to see that at least the fans are trying to get it. So at least I can see that this computer has good longevity for in the future. As for the performance, here are the results for the benchmarks for this Asus Zenbook. So this one's configured with an i9 10980 HK processor with 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte SSD, and it's got the RTX 3070 card in it. Put up the results for Passmark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Geekbench 5, Crystal Disk Mark, Blender, Lux Mark, Octane Bench, Pugin Photoshop, Pugin Premiere Pro, Pugin After Effects, Pugin DaVinci Resolve, MATLAB 2020B, Eugene Engine, and SpecView Pref. Hope you find this video informative, and if you enjoyed this video or even to support my channel, smack that like button for me. It does help me out. And if you haven't done already, subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button on the screen. I do try to upload a new video every week. And just remember, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.